if you don't have a bolster, a yoga blanket, blocks, and a strap, you can use alternatively a couple towels, a blanket that you can fold up that's kind of firm, and a king size pillow. If you don't have a king size pillow, you can use regular pillows. The king size are just a little bit longer, give you a little bit more surface area to work with, but no worries if you don't have it. So I am going to use, I don't know what I'm going to use today, so I'll just keep these both sets close by just in case. But like I said, we are going to start today standing up. I'm going to take a drink of water. So we'll come to standing. And start with your feet hips distance apart. All right. So we don't want a wide stance. We sometimes think that this is hips distance apart, but feet a little bit closer together. Right, there's hips distance. And take your feet at 12 o'clock. So toes pointing straight forward. And think about the outer edges of your feet being parallel. If you were square with your mat, you would focus on the outer edges of your feet being parallel with the side edges of your mat. I'm going to face you though. Good. Now lift and spread your toes apart, and then take your toes back down on your mat. Give a little bend in your knees, like a little micro bend, just so you're not locking the knees out, right? You want some softness in the knees. And draw your belly in and up, and then let your tailbone drop. So if you see this from the side, if I'm just standing like this with my knees locked out, belly kind of pushes forward. So I'm going to bend the knees, drop the tailbone, pull the belly in. So I'm trying to get a nice plumb line from my ear to shoulder, hip, knee. You guys can tell me later, or I'll look later, see how that goes. See if I was plumb. Okay, back to center. So feet 12 o'clock, micro bend in the knees, swoop your belly in and up, and drop your tailbone. Bring your hands forward, and then squeeze your shoulder blades in slightly together, right, to create an openness in your chest. Right, when we're feeling anxiety, we shut down, we start to close. So we're going to practice staying open, eyes forward, palms forward. And then press down into your feet. Strengthen your legs, so squeeze those muscles in towards their bones. And then lift the crown of your head up towards the ceiling. So these are the same instructions I give you almost every pose. I'm like a broken record. It's okay. So turning your gaze forward. Imagine that you're seeing the horizon. Maybe you are outside and you can see horizon. Soften your jaw. And soften your gaze, so soften your eyes. So instead of trying to focus really hard with your eyes on a point, try to see more out of your peripheral vision, right? Your side vision. So you have to soften your eyes to do that. And then let's take about 10 breaths. Standing here in Tadasana. Keep the eyes soft, the jaw relaxed. Your palms are facing forward, and your fingers can spread apart from each other, but I just noticed I was like really spreading the fingers apart. Let that be a little bit softer. Start to increase the volume of your breath. Take 2 more. One more big breath in through your nose. Long, slow exhale out through your mouth. Tadasana with your arms up, mountain pose. So palms face one another, spread your fingers wide, and continually feel like you're reaching up towards the ceiling or the sky, wherever you are. Lift the crown of your head up. You want to keep a nice little bend in your knees. Pull your belly button in and up so that your tailbone drops. Take another 10 breaths here with our arms up. Draw your shoulder blades down your back as you exhale. So arms stay up as you inhale, maybe your fingertips lift a little. As you exhale, draw the shoulder blades down. Eyes are open, gazing at the horizon. Soften your eyes and relax your jaw. If your arms get tired, you could come to a goalpost arm, but try to keep your arms up. A couple more breaths here, not many. One more breath. Exhale, take your hands to your heart center. And then bow your head to your heart, gazing through your fingertips to the floor. And now as you inhale, sweep your arms up. Exhale, fold forward. So coming over in Uttanasana or a forward fold. Keep your feet here at hips distance apart. Notice if they moved a little bit. Grab opposite elbows and come into this forward fold. Now if you have the means to support yourself with a couple of blocks, you could take your head on the blocks with your hands down. You could support your hands too with, a couple towels. If you don't have anything, go ahead and grab opposite elbows and let your head drop. With your elbows, when you're grabbing the opposite elbows, it gives the pose some structure. So if you don't have support, you can mimic it. Again, 10 breaths. And your breath doesn't have to be particularly deep here. You can create a little bit softer of a breath in your forward fold. And I notice as I take a few breaths, I can lower the block. So now I'm stretching through the back of my legs. Let your jaw be soft here. Bend your knees if you need to. Two more breaths. Now to come out of this, bend your knees a lot. Pull your chest forward. Remove any of your props that you have. And then take a fold. Inhale, halfway lift. Exhale, fold. Inhale, rise to stand, reach up. Exhale, bring your hands to your heart center. We're going into another forward fold, but this time it's a wide-legged forward fold. So take your feet really wide on your mat and then press into the outer edges of your feet. Now you want your feet on the edges here, again, to be parallel, but now to the front and back edges of your mat or parallel to whatever you're using. If you have blocks again, use blocks here. You're going to take the top of your head, the crown of your head onto the block. So a lot of times I see this, right, forward with your forehead. And that's okay, but I want the crown of your head on the blocks here. So just like this. So your legs have to be doing a lot of the work. Press into the outer edges of your feet, squeeze your leg muscles, and then just get into this however you want to. Now if you don't have blocks or something to support yourself, again, the ragdoll pose arms is like a good counter weight to help you stay in it. I'm going to take the crown of my head here, take my hands out wide, but just support yourself. So I don't want my hands to take a lot of the load. They're just a little, I don't know, they're like antennas, right? Helping me to balance. But my feet and my legs are doing all the work. Let's take 10 breaths here, you guys. Here, start to deepen your breath. Not so much that you're uncomfortable, but just start to explore the capacity of your lungs as you are in a forward fold. Good. 2 more breaths here. Stay strong in your legs. Inhale, halfway lift. You can bend your knees. Exhale, bring your hands to your hips. Inhale, straighten up, and then heel toe your feet together. Good. All right, take props off to the side. Actually, you're going to want to keep one block or something to support yourself at the front of your mat. So if you don't have a block, again, you could always take, right, some towels, some dense towels. I also have like this short little foam roller. You could use that. It's a little bit higher, but definitely could use it. All right, come into a downward facing dog. Nothing fancy, right? Hands down, feet back. And then push your chest back towards your thighs. And then take your hands pretty wide here, especially if you have tight shoulders. Draw your shoulder blades down your back and hold here. We'll stay here for a count of 10, 9, 8. Let your head drop. 7, 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Look forward. Step your right foot forward, and then your back foot's going to come down at an angle, well, actually parallel to the back edge of your mat. Right. So your front knee here starts at a 90-degree angle. Take your hands down to your blocks and then straighten your front leg, coming into triangle pose. So here my left arm is up, right hand is down, and the legs are strong. So I'm going to push into my legs, squeeze the inner thigh muscles, and make sure you're supported here with a block or something so that your pose has some good structure to it. You don't have to be really low here. It's actually better for now if we're up a little bit higher. We're not going for the full gusto here. If you don't have anything to support you, take the back of your hand to your inner shin or thigh and press. So you're going to press the back of your hand into your leg, push the leg back into your hand, and that's going to help open you up. Keep pushing down into your feet. And let's stay here for 10, 9, 8, 7, 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Look down. Take your right foot back into a downward facing dog. Pedal your feet here. Just bend one knee at a time. Good, and then come to stillness. Look forward. Step your left foot forward. Your back foot becomes parallel to the back edge of your mat. And then we're coming into triangle pose on this side. So take your support. Straighten your front leg. You can even take that block on the inside of your leg. Pull your right arm up towards the ceiling. Notice this left hip is going to move back. Keep this leg straight. And if you're feeling a weird pull in your knee, make a little micro bend in your front knee. And then hold it. And your gaze can be down to the floor, to the side wall, or up to the ceiling, just depending upon your own flexibility in your neck. Deepen your breath here, and we'll stay for 10, 9, 8, push into your feet, 7, 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Take your hands down. Your support goes to the side. Come back into downward facing dog. Pedal your feet. And you can pedal your feet for 10 breaths or do a combo, pedal your feet in stillness, but we're taking about 10 breaths in this downward facing dog. If you're in stillness, press your chest back towards your thighs. And if you're pedaling your feet, you're still pressing your chest back, but allow for a little bit more movement. It doesn't have to be such a hard press. Two more breaths here. One more breath. And then come onto your shins. All right. Going into Virasana. So this is where we are on our shins. And then take a block, if you have it, between your ankle bones. I'm going to turn to the side. And you sit like this. Right, if you have two blocks and one block just isn't enough, you take the other block on top of it and sit. So you're sitting up a little taller in your spine. You can also, if you do not have blocks, you can take a blanket, kind of roll it up, make it kind of dense, and then you can sit on the blanket. So you've got the block or the blanket between your ankle bones. Right? You're not going to squeeze as much, because then the blanket might unravel. If you need a little bit more height, you could take your towels and build that up. All right, so we can get this done. We can accomplish Virasana even if we don't have fancy yoga blocks. So get yourself into your Virasana. If you do have blocks, squeeze the block with your ankle bones and have your block on this width versus this width. If it's here, your sits bones are going to slide off the side and it might start to become uncomfortable pretty quick. Here, our sits bones are fully supported, plenty of room. And bring your knees as close together as you can, and then spread your toes apart from each other. Sit up really tall in your spine. I want your gaze to go back to the horizon, eyes wide open. Squeeze your shoulder blades together so we're not collapsing through the chest, we're open. And then as you inhale, lift the crown of your head up towards the ceiling, Feel that lift. When you exhale, draw your belly button in, but keep the lift. Right? Don't slump back down. Keep the height that you've created with your inhale. So inhale, lifting. Exhale, keeping it, drawing your belly button in. About 5 more breaths here. Your jaw is soft. Your eyes are soft. Remember to view out of your peripheral vision, right? Your side vision, not necessarily so focused forward. That's how we can soften our eyes. Deepen your breath here. Take 3 more big breaths. Let's come onto our hands and knees. So taking your block, your blankets away. And as you come onto your hands and knees, if you want a little bit of support for your knees, you can put a blanket underneath them. But I don't think we're going to be here too long. No, not long at all. Just long enough to do a few cat-cows. Take your knees about hips distance apart. Do a couple cat-cows. So as you inhale, pull your chest forward, lift your sits bones. Exhale, round your spine. Tuck your chin to your chest. Inhale. Exhale. One more round. Inhale. Exhale. And then come to a neutral spine. And take your right foot back behind you. So press your toes down into your mat and then push your heel to the back of the room. All right, so if you were sitting in Virasana and you got tingly feet, this will help relieve that. And that can be a normal thing, tingly feet in Virasana. You're perfectly fine. Okay, let's go to the other side. Left toes down, push your left heel to the back of the room. Okay, one more breath. And exhale it out. And then bring the knees down. So we're coming into supported child's pose. If you have a bolster, you'll take the bolster, put it in front of you, and it's going to come a little bit past your knees so that as you lay down on the bolster and turn your head to one side, your torso is supported. So mostly your chest and your rib cage is supported. Your belly's kind of hanging out, letting that drop. If you don't have a bolster, you can take your blanket, and you might need a little bit more support, so I would take that king pillow or regular pillow, place that on top, and then you can let yourself relax into it. But you might need a little bit more support, so when I went into that, I was like, ooh, that's kind of low. So I'll take these towels, build it up a little bit. You could even fold that in half and just keep that underneath your chest area. Maybe you need to roll the pillow up, right? So there's all sorts of things that we can do to make it work. And then you just turn your head to one side, and we'll take about 10 breaths here. breath again here. Does not have to be super loud or big. Just make it a full breath. Turn your head to the other side. Let yourself really sink into your bolster or your pillow blanket combo. We'll take 3 more breaths here. Okay, come forward and then walk your hands back. That was actually really, really comfy. What I just did here with the pillows and the blanket. I didn't really want to get up. But we must move on. Okay. So coming into Janu Shirshasana. So we'll start, if you have tight hips and you have a blanket to work with, put that underneath your hips so that you have some support. And you'll take your right foot forward, left foot in, and then your bolster or pillows, towels on top. Okay, so give yourself something to lay into, because we'll come into a forward fold like this. Right, hands on either side of your leg. If you're a little bit more flexible and you want to take your feet or your foot, you can take your foot with your hands and fold forward like this. So I want your forehead to rest on something. So this is where you could take your pillow, fold it in half, a couple towels, and take it. I'm kind of liking this pillow folding thing. So I'm going to do that. I'll roll up my towels. There we go. Perfect. So now if you're really tight in your back and your legs and you're like a forward fold is just not possible, I want you to pull the pillow and your towel group close to you and then cross your arms. And then you could do this number. All right, I want your forehead to be on something. And so bend your elbows and hold your head. If you can fold a little bit, do that. Take one deep breath in through your nose. Open your mouth, slow, long exhale. And then let your breath just be gentle here. Take 2 more breaths. Flex your right foot, draw your belly button in, push into the floor, and come up. So we'll switch sides. Take your left foot forward, right foot in. Left leg is strong. Take your group back, so whatever you're going to use for your props. Again, you can pull your props in really close to you, support your head, or come forward a little bit more into a fold, either grabbing a hold of your foot or hands to the side. Allow yourself to really drop in here. Notice where you hold tension, and can you just breathe into that spot? Or do you need to layer up a little bit more? So in our restorative poses, we're not trying to go to maximum, right? Maximum stretch, maximum strength. You want to be able to let go. You want to be able to surrender to the props, surrender to the support. So you might need to build it up and gather all the blankets and towels and pillows you have in the house. We'll take about 5 more breaths here. Nice and soft. Flex your left foot, draw your belly button in, push into your hands, and lift yourself up. Good. Take your feet out in front of you, and shake your legs out a little bit. Next, we're going into Paschimottanasana, which is a forward fold with both feet forward. Again, if you had a bolster, you could take the bolster, and we're just doing this, right? As I fold forward, I want my forehead again to be on something, so I can use my towels. I could just stack my wrists or stack my arms and let my head rest here. You could use your pillows. You could stay a little bit more upright again. All right, do this thing, hold your head. Decide where you're going, and then go. Stack your fists. You can soften your feet here. Let yourself surrender to the forward fold. So if that means staying more upright, holding your head, you do that. Take about 3 more breaths here. Keep surrendering. that word surrender, think about relaxing into what is. Now to come out of this, flex your feet, contract your legs, pull your belly button in, press into your hands, and sit up nice and tall. Take your props off to the side. And I'm going to come into a cross-legged position. Sit up nice and tall on your spine. Let's just do a few torso rolls as we get ready to transition to the next pose. Go in the opposite direction. One more circle. Good. And then come all the way up. So I'm going to take my stuff off to the side. Come into a wide-legged stance, Vibhishakonasana. I want you to sit up tall in your spine. And if you are able to fold forward at all, you can take your bolster and make this little bridge. Give a little height with a block underneath it. And then take a blanket, maybe another block in the blanket to give it some more height. And you can fold forward this way. Again, just like in your other forward folds, if it doesn't work for you at all, then hands here supporting your head. And if that just doesn't even work either, sit up tall. Do what works for you. I do need my block with a blanket on it. And I want you to keep your feet a little flexed here so that you can actively pull the inner thigh muscles in towards your pelvis to keep yourself supported. So this is a bit more active than most of our restorative poses. Unless you're able to completely fold forward and it's relaxing for you. So some of us, it takes a little bit more work for this pose. Again, as you breathe in, identify any areas of tension that you could breathe to. And as you exhale, imagine all that tension just leaving. See a softening happening. Two more breaths here. To come out, flex the feet, give a little bend in your knees, draw your belly in, and come up. Take your stuff off to the side. And then hug your knees into your chest, feet on the floor, lift your chest. And then come into Baddha Konasana. So soles of your feet together, knees apart. Take your towels and put the towels underneath your legs so that you have some support. Flex your feet, so pull your toes apart from each other. Take your hands to your ankles or your shins and just sit up tall. If it feels better to support yourself with your hands behind you, do that. Again, bring your gaze forward to the horizon. Sit up nice and tall. Let your eyes soften. and your jaw relax. Now, Baddha Konasana with your feet together and knees apart is not comfortable. You could go to a cross-legged position, Sukhasana, like this. That's not comfortable either. You can just find a way to have a tall spine, soft gaze. Let your breath deepen here. Long, slow inhale through your nose. Long, slow exhale through your nose. Breathe in through your nose. Open your mouth. Long, slow exhale. Good. Let's come into a cross-legged position just so we can get ready for our next pose. So here we'll come into Supta Baddha Konasana. If you have a bolster, you'll take the bolster behind you. If you don't have a bolster, you'll use a combination of your pillow and your blanket. Blanket became unraveled. So if you have a pillow and a blanket or a couple blankets, you'll use that. If you have towels, you'll take the soles of your feet together. Take your knees out to the side. So Baddha Konasana legs, but now we will lie back. So this turns into Supta Baddha Konasana. Supta, supine, face up. If you have a yoga strap, you can bind. I'll show you how that's done. Otherwise, just lay back with your knees supported. If you have the strap, take the strap over your head. So the strap is going to be low on your hips. Adjust this and take the front portion of the loop underneath your feet. And then you pull the strap a little bit tighter just so you're kind of held in. You're not restricted, you're just supported. If you have blocks, you take the blocks underneath your legs and then lay back. And then scoop your tailbone forward. So you draw your belly in, scoop the tailbone forward, let your arms come out to the side. You can support yourself with the blanket underneath your neck if you feel like you want to try that. Squeeze your shoulder blades together and then let your arms be really heavy here. Your elbows are on the floor. Your lower arm is on the floor, the back of your hands. Take a deep breath in through your nose. A quick sigh out. And then let everything relax. So here again, we're surrendering to the support of whatever we have underneath us. If there's any area of restriction or resistance, see if you can breathe into it to relax and soften. can close your eyes here if you haven't already. Let your eyes soften into your skull. And let them rest in the socket. Allow your jaw to relax. Let your teeth separate from each other. Soften even more. And we'll take about 5 more breaths here. So you're going to stay either here in your Supta Baddha Konasana. If you have a strap in a bind, you can choose to stay there or release your legs. So take the legs forward. And this is how we'll end our practice. So our torso will stay supported. Your legs can be in the Baddha Konasana, so feet together or legs forward. However you'd like to end your practice. And I invite you, as you lay in your Shavasana, to just allow your thoughts to come and go. If they're present, just let them float away like clouds. And bringing your awareness to your breath. Feel the rise and fall of your belly. Feel the rise and fall of your chest. Allow your body to feel heavy. Let your toes drop out to the side. And feel the weight of your skull. Slowly begin to deepen your breath. to wiggle your fingers and your toes. And if you're still in your bind or your feet are together, go ahead and take your legs forward. Take a full body stretch. Reach your arms back behind you. Press your heels forward. And then as you exhale, bring your feet to the floor, knees up. Roll to your side. And then bring yourself up to a seated position. Eyes are closed. Bring your right hand over your heart, your left hand over your right, and bow your head. Thank you for joining me here today. Together we say, Namaste.